Yay,
Oh,
we're live.
all right, everyone. Welcome back to the next episode of the Raiders Rambles. I am your candy corn doggo, Avera Nova. And, happy 4th of July to everyone who celebrated it. Screw you, King George, and your unjust taxes. And joining me today is none other than our interim host, Noble.
Good afternoon, good day, good evening, good blah. I lost myself. Bye.
How's your weekend been, man? Doing all right?
Been better. You?
I mean, yeah, fair enough. It was, 4th of July, America Day. So I was in, more positive spirits. And next up, we have Azzy.
Hello, everybody. Happy belated 4th of July. Hope you guys had a good one.
Yeah, right on, right on. I did kind of. I mean, it was. I only had like a couple of firecrackers left over, so I, lit some of those. It was like, yay, a couple pops here and there. But my neighbors were lighting everything off. Like it was like World War II. It was amazing. Anyways, we have Malagos.
Well, every time 4th of July comes in, I always do the Hulk Hogan impression of Happy 4th of July, brother! I don't know. Hulk Hogan and 4th of July always like kind of intertwines, you know.
I can see that.
I can see that. Yeah, it was very very American. Didn't he sometimes wear like an American flag bandana? I'm pretty sure that was
Yeah.
like a, yeah, like that's
I
his
mean, you
thing,
couldn't
right?
get more American than that. Like,
Exactly. All right, awesome. Well, I think
Be
we're
American, brother.
that's right, red, white, and blue. All right, I think we're gonna jump into our first story. What do you think?
sure thing.
Yeah, sorry, just still
Sure.
processing
You're
stuff.
good, man. How many people
Okay,
saw
here we go.
others posting fireworks on? Oh, sorry, never mind. We're good.
Yay, fireworks!
Yes, I was going to talk about that later. That's fine.
So this one I thought was fascinating from bounding into comics. Malagos, would you like to read this one?
Japanese players petition Ubisoft to cancel Assassin's Creed Shadows, accuse game of being a serious insult to Japanese culture and history. Ooh.
Damn.
You know it's bad when the Japanese hate your own game that's basically supposed to be inspired by the Japanese history.
Interesting.
Oh, sorry.
So-
Should I read this further? Or
Yeah, it's sorry,
Oh.
starts here.
To the surprise of no one, without a grain of sense, Japanese players are not happy with Ubisoft's decision to use Assassin's Creed's first official foray into the island nation as a platform for more diversity activists. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so in summary here, Japan is not about that DEI.
Nope. They are. I mean, as far as I have played all the Japanese game, there hasn't been that. No, there hasn't been any DEI at all. Like, actually,
Right.
when you think about the Stellar Blade entire thing, I don't know if Stellar Blade is Korean or Japanese, but in any case, it's still non woke shit.
Oh.
Oh, right. I'm reading further. Sorry. Yeah, taking place in the Sengoku era of feudal Japanese history, the upcoming Assassin's Creed Shadows will tell its story through the eyes of two distinct protagonists: Naoi, a completely fictional female ninja, which is fine, and Yasuke, a highly romanticized version of the real-world black African man who briefly served as a retainer for the famous Japanese warlord Oda Nobunaga. Okay, so few things. Yeah, Yasuke did exist. Like there was record of him existing historically, but what people always mix up is that they they said that he was the first foreign samurai, which is not actually true.
They probably just saw him as like an oddity, in their
Uh,
homogenous nation.
he was more like he was a sword retainer. He was the one that basically carried the weapons for Nobunaga. Under no circumstance like a samurai would have to own lands and actually wear armor and have two swords. There was no record of anything that he was actually a samurai. In fact, he wasn't even in Japan
I
for
I,
that
I
long.
believe I believe the article actually does go on to talk about this, right?
Right. So notably, the decision to feature Yasuke as one of the game's protagonists marks the first time in the entirety of Assassin's Creed that a real-world historical figure of a highly fictionalized version of them will be made available as a playable character, which is true. To this end, believing that Shadow's portraying of Yasuke as a full-blown samurai rather than a simple retainer was both culturally insulting and outright attempt at historical revisionism. One unhappy Japanese player took to change.org on June 19th to launch a petition demanding that Ubisoft not just take the game back to the drawing board, but wholesale cancel their plans for its development.
Wow. And you see, this is something that I was thinking about earlier about Japanese history. There's so much, vibrant culture to delve into, with the samurais and the honor and the wars they fought, everything. Like there's so much detail there to go into, and the fact that they're focusing on this one thing and then historically revising it, yeah, you know what? It is kind of insulting, in my
I
opinion.
I
Let's
just
say.
find it really strange that first off, you have a black guy that kills the native Japanese population in the in that island, and secondly, you have in one of the gameplay videos, his battle theme is, I kid you not, a hip hop theme,
Oh,
And the Pandora's continues. Oh boy.
and it's not
you
like
wonder why the
and
Japanese
it's
are
and
pissed.
it's like he's not even African American; he's just African, and it's like.
You see, if I want to play a game about like medieval Japan with samurais and stuff, I want it to be historically accurate. I mean, it would be super awesome to be like, some samurai like assassin on a mission, doing something
Uh,
crazy, storming the palace. Man, I don't know, but it
I,
doesn't have to be political like this.
I've seen a debate of saying that Assassin's Creed was never historically accurate because it's basically a fictionalized play. It's supposed to be if you played earlier Assassin's Creed games, it's basically supposed to be more like inspired by historical figures. But to give you an example, I don't know if anyone remembers here the first Assassin's Creed game in 2007, was it? Yeah, 2007. Where you played as an as I'm not sure if he was an Arab or a Kurdish assassin called Altair, who actually his job was to basically eliminate nine targets that were spread around Jerusalem, Acre, or was it like it was basically crusade
Hmm.
cities in the during the first crusade, and it was kind of interesting. And Ubisoft, by the way, but during that time, they used to have like Altair was carrying a crossbow, and Ubisoft actually decided in the trailer he was wearing crossbow, and Ubisoft decided to actually remove the crossbow because they said that that him wearing crossbow was not historically accurate to the I, to that period.
Oh, okay. See, that's a nitpick, but they want to make the game more fun. So having a crossbow is just like more fun. So I get it.
No, I think they were actually trying to be more historically accurate. Like like that group of assassins
Hmm.
actually did exist during that time, during the Crusades, and they actually wanted him to be a little more accurate to the history. So the assassins didn't actually carry crossbows back then. and so they actually removed the Alteri having crossbows, even though that's not just gameplay feature. They just want to be more historically accurate.
I
But
see. I
here
see.
you have Yasuke, who's a samurai, and he basically, there's no historical evidence that he was actually even a samurai. And of all the characters, I think the Japanese people, and I think most of the people, not just Japanese people, wanted to play, as a Japanese person.
Yeah, a traditional
Malagos.
Japanese samurai. That would make
What?
sense.
Sorry.
Once you can read this next three paragraphs, sorry, I've got a few things to add on.
Okay. Recently, a serious issue of historical accuracy or lack of cultural respect has been raised about a game developer, Ubisoft's upcoming release, Assassin's Creed Shadows. Explains the petition's creator, Shimizu Toru, for its purpose. The game is based on the subject of Japanese samurai, ignores the fact that the samurai are a higher class of samurai and should be gokimono, of servants of nobility. In fact, the first European to receive the title of samurai, William Adams, was a bannerman with 250 koku, unit of measurement. Used 1 koku equals 180 liters or 48 gallons, used to colloquially refer to how much rice one's land holding could produce, and served Tokugawa Ieyasu. Throughout the history, Ubisoft continues to misunderstand nature and role of the samurai. This is a serious insult to Japanese culture and history and could lead to Asian racism. We demand that Ubisoft immediately stops the release of Assassin's Creed Shadows and slows serious investigation and respect for Japanese history and culture. Your signature is needed. He ultimately concludes, sign this petition to let Ubisoft know the importance of cultural respect and historical accuracy.
So, what I'm taking away from this is Ubisoft is being racist, and the Japanese are basically offended. Now, if you only understand like America, how America works, or how England works, or how Australia works, someone talking in this sort of manner may seem quite tame, but with how I want to use the word meek or shy Japanese people can be, this is saying a lot. Just reading or hearing this makes me want to go and sign that, knowing that this person's in Japan. This is how they feel. This is how apparently a fair amount of Japanese people feel towards the game.
I would say so.
This is like what was it with Egypt?
Oh, with Cleopatra.
Yeah,
Yes.
the Black Cleopatra thing.
Yeah, that was
Oh, yeah.
insulting.
This is
even
that.
Egypt tried to sue them. That was terrible.
Now, there is a really good opportunity to turn around and take this game and put it in a different light. For instance, this sounds interesting. William Adams, fine. Do the black guy for first off. Have him as an assassin. Have him as a foreign assassin who comes in to assassinate someone.
Yeah, that'd be
and
cool.
have it so that he joins who he goes working for a sword carrier with. I mean, that's a perfect way to be an assassin. Who's going to expect the guy, dragging around the weaponry as being an assassin?
I think my idea would be to have him as a side quest giver or something, like to him being just like a NPC or part of the main quest, something, not just.
Mhm.
I don't think would be main character. I mean, William Adams being a samurai would actually be awesome.
Oh no, not including William Adams at all. I mean, stick with the black guy, for instance. Have this like ninja thing. By all means, yeah, fine. But go about it with historically accurate setup, because that's an interesting story. It allows people to learn. What they're doing, you're being racist and you're offending an entire nation. Congratulations.
Yeah, and this
What's
is not
next?
the first time that Japan has been insulted like this. Holy bonkers.
Especially because his battle theme is a hip hop theme.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Yeah,
it's a
exactly.
total
Pandering.
insult to the Japanese, dude. Total
Yeah, I was gonna
insult.
ask you, Azzy. What do you think about this? Like, if you were a Japanese citizen, like you're very proud of your heritage, your culture, and then you saw this happening, like one of this like mainstream movies, and it's like historically twisted like this. I mean, what do you think about that?
I would have been fucking pissed off, dude. I would be like, it's
Yeah, right? And you gotta
yeah,
imagine, like, in a country full of like 150 million people. I mean, my goodness.
yeah. Especially when it's playing hip hop music, when they're like doing a samurai attack or some shit. It's like, dude,
I
no,
swear,
Yeah, that doesn't. That
can
was
look-
great.
super racist. First
You
of
can-
all,
I can't believe they did that. Like, oh my god, that's like a South Park skit.
what are
Holy
they
shit.
thinking?
you can actually go to the YouTube, look at the gameplay of the video, and there's like Yasuke sword fighting another samurai. It was a bandit, whatever, and in the background a hip hop music playing. Like,
Oh,
Oh boy.
God.
Anyways, we should probably move on to our next topic. What do you think?
yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Oh
What do
yeah.
we got?
By the way, there was one small addition to this. Ubisoft did respond to this entire criticism, and they basically said in quote that all the people that are criticizing them for using Yasuke are a bunch of hateful racists.
Oh yeah. Well, that's nothing new. So that basically means normal people don't like this woke nonsense. Okay, got it.
Right?
I swear it's like AI is already writing news stories and has been for like the last 7
Oh, yeah.
years.
That would be predictable, though.
Now, who wants to go from one gaming fiasco to another? Because yikes.
Oh yeah. Let's see what we got. See, we have.
Bounding into comics again, we've got God of War, Ragnarok, writer, I can't pronounce that. Elden Ring's not accessible to disabled players, claims it counts as a disability if you have a 2-year-old.
What?
Okay.
Video game personality, I'm not going to say her name because I can't pronounce it,
Just
is adding her voice to the chorus of critics who believe that the core fundamental of FromSoft's different video game design philosophies are somehow unfair and restricted to disabled individuals.
Okay. What exactly is she
Editor's
talking
note.
about here?
Oh, here we go. A previous version of this article described Pearson as having a 2-year-old herself. This was incorrect. Pearson does not have any children and has since been corrected. Okay, good. Thank you. I'm going to say to the editor who corrected this and for providing the update.
But did she retract the statement about having a 2-year-old is still a disability?
No, my assumption is that it was misinterpreted.
Ah, I see.
Pearson, who to her current position as a writer for Sony's Santa Monica studio, has notable sins as YouTuber, ING editor, Rooster Teeth employee. Oh, wow. Okay, worked for that place. Offered up a hot take in a video uploaded to a personal YouTube account. Okay, so she's basically speaking. No, that's good. Okay, yeah, this is fine. The title Elden Ring DLC is too hard. It's not. Peaceman's main point was not to call a reduced of the game's difficulty, but to share her opinion as to why I think it would be great if disabled players could play Elden Ring.
Okay, here's what she's saying here. They're saying that the game is too difficult, and she's saying, "Well, I don't want to reduce the difficulty because of disabled players, because they don't want to lower the standards because that might look ableist." I would imagine that's probably the argument that she's trying to convey here.
The following a brief explanation of her general thoughts on the game's recent release, Shadows of whatever DLC, Peace
Shadow's Urchin.
eventually it has brought up various times across various mediums and various people that Elden Ring or soft games in general are not particularly accessible for disabled players. Elaborating on her argument with God of War Ragnarok's team writer, when I'm asking for accessibility, I'm not asking for easy mode. That isn't the intent. Here's the thing I want to spell out where accessibility is concerned, people who are disabled. There are also multiple kinds of disabilities, especially gaming in connected. There are long-term disabilities. There are situational disabilities. There are temporary disabilities. It counts as a disability where a video game like Elden Ring is concerned. If you're a kid, you have a 2-year-old, you're trying to play Elden Ring, you can't pause. That's a situational disability that you have where the game not having the option for you to be able to pause, for example, is a hindrance to your participation. A disability situation is where you need to pause to stop your kid from a fork in
Yeah, see, that is such
shoving in a power socket.
That is a first world problem right there. I can't play my Elden Ring because my 2-year-old is walking around putting forks in the sockets. I just can't help it. This is incredible. I don't even know what to do.
There are temporary disabilities, like you break your wrist, sprain your wrist, you'll temporarily have trouble playing video games. You can continue. You need something to help you press certain buttons if you're playing. Oh, for God's sake.
Wait, what the hell are they talking about here? Yo, if you break your wrist and you can't play games, fucking go outside for a bit. What the heck?
I'm sorry, but to take the idea of having a kid as being a quote-unquote disability, I have turned around and said once that a person I was interacting with had a temporary disability. In this case, the prick got hit by a fucking car and was still limping. I'm pretty sure that would be classified as temporarily disabled. A kid is not a fucking disability. It's a responsibility.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Really, for real.
To me, this is insulting to parents. If you've got a kid,
Yeah.
look, I interact with a lot of different people online. Some of them are parents. And what do you do when they turn around and say, sorry, I got to go, my kid or something? Yeah, all right. And you just wait. If they take longer, you go, okay, sorry, I got to go, blah, 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 meet up another time. And you don't hold it against that person. Their life's already a bitch as it is. You don't want to turn around and make them feel even worse.
Well,
everyone does.
I mean, here
like this
saying,
idiot.
Well, even if you broke your hand, even if you're disabled, don't worry. You can still play this game. We'll make it so you can still play. Every single precious second of your life belongs to us.
You know what would help?
If you read between the lines diabolically, that's kind of what they're actually talking about here.
Here's the thing. Why not make the game playable with one fucking hand? How many keys can a person access with one bloody hand?
I don't know. Maybe they'll try to make it work. There was a weird way for them to put it like that.
Further building her case. Sorry. Pearson added.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
The third category of disabilities is long-term people who have long-term disabilities. I have a tendency in both of my wrists when playing too many video games. Yeah, you're playing too many video games.
Yeah, you ever hear of carpal tunnel? That's not good.
Ironically, that is a thing from tapping too much. It means any rapid button mashing in any games I am going to have a lot of trouble with unless these are accessibility options to prevent that. It's part of what I work on at God of War Ragnarok. It's part of why I am accessibility award show to highlight the. Yeah, how about recommend people getting proper keyboards with like the ability to, you know, support your lower arm, so you're not putting stress on it.
You know, it's funny.
How
Back
about
in the
that?
day, they used to say that video games rot your brain, but now it seems like video games are like having a physical effect on people, where they're like can't leave their chairs, and their like
They-
arms and legs are getting dilapidated.
They always have.
especially when they like wear their big ass like headphones on their heads, and this is scientifically proven that it can like decrease your skull volume a little bit, like kind of makes it a little bit like your top of your skull would be like dented a little bit.
Oh, that sounds dangerous, especially if you're like a young kid who's like developing and still growing. Especially, you got that stuff on your head. Yeah, I guess so. Anyways, let's see what
So-
the next quote here says. The gamers are the ones just playing. The ones just saying it's too damn hard. She noted, referencing the numerous bad reviews left on various platforms by players who found the Shadows of the Erdtree DLC to be particularly harrowing. Quote, for any of those people who do not have accessibility, specific issues, you just gotta explore more, dude. You can do it. I think you're being impatient. I think you can do it. End quote. And another one says, I would love to see them have more accessibility options, concluded Pierce. I would not like to see them make games easier or less challenging, but it's difficult balance to strike, obviously. So she's kind of backpedaling a little bit here. She kind of said, like I said, the quiet part out loud, but without actually saying it. So okay, I see what you mean.
When I coming across this person and her sort of like banter online,
Mhm.
at least the clips I've seen, I don't think she understands the client base. And this is the reason why I don't go into business myself, because I don't understand people. I simply just don't.
Right.
So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do anything good in a business. This individual's in the same boat. Yeah, fine. They're a specific point in the game. They might be, you know, doing okay, but interacting with the public's probably not the best place.
Yeah, especially in her direct quotes, it seems like she really doesn't just know how to convey a more comforting message, or less direct, I would say.
Malagos, you got anything for this?
Only 2 words. Skillish.
Look, if people are complaining that the game's too hard, how many people are complaining? Is it a vast majority of gamers? Then maybe you have a problem. Or maybe it's some kind of action that people like this would turn around and sort of,
maybe the
you know,
game-
If it is, yeah.
Might
Or
be
just
hard.
just learn how to do the game. And
Well, maybe, but also, Noble, you brought up a very good point, because if there actually is a problem that most gamers who, you know, wanted to just be able to play this and enjoy it, and then they're all coming across some serious issues, it might be a development problem. You know, maybe they didn't work out the bugs or something. Because, like, there are some games out there that have some serious glitches, and like they still got out on the market anyway. And some people find them either difficult, infuriating, or maybe impossible. So this could be one of them if you really look into it. But you know,
right.
I'm still all over the place right now. So I'm
right.
Okay.
It's hard to say.
I'll give an external example. So there was a YouTube channel called Hack 5 that I watch occasionally, and they've changed the host for the new segment they hold it each week.
Uh-huh.
And the videos have always seemed off when watching, until the last episode I watched, where the mic broke halfway through. So she had like this boom mic instead, and her voice was 10 times better. And I'm like, whoa, okay, what the hell's yeah, it turns out everyone else was the same thing. It's like, use this microphone because your voice sounds better. It's the same in this sort of case. Instead of turning around and taking criticisms from people, or at least trying to look a little deeper as to what the fuck's going on, it's like, yeah, no, you're sort of bad. You know, I'm just going to ignore you. Your livelihood depends on the people you're sort of shooing away out the door.
Mm. Good point. Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, Azzy.
There's a lot to process in that story.
I. All right.
Guys,
Let's
it
go
was
from one
so
shit
much.
show to the next because
It's just so much to process because it's too much happening at that. Then that story is just like.
Yeah, it was pretty
Let's-
damn bonkers.
let's take another
Yes.
5 steps into hell, shall we? Because this next one's just golden.
Oh my
Alright,
god.
guys.
Screen
here we
Rant.
go.
Disney's live action Snow White gets major filming update from Rachel Zager.
Right. So this is a story that we've talked about over the last year or so. You know, we all know that this was just going to be a train wreck from the beginning, and we've all watched in glee as it crashed and burned several times as it went off the rails. But here we go. We have Rachel Zegler provides a major filming update for Snow White after the Disney live-action remake was delayed by a year. Well, the movie is a remake, as we know, of the 1937 animated Disney film Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Keeping with the studio's trend of reintroducing its beloved classics to new generations, our recent Disney live-action remakes include The Little Mermaid, The Jungle Book, The Lion King, all of which were absolute flops, by the way. That's just a Vera's comment. Anyway, while the film was initially slated to release in spring of 2024, it received a significant delay due to the SAG AFTRA strike and the need for additional reshoots. So Snow White's lead star, Rachel Zegler. Oh, wait, hold on. Scroll up a second.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah. She has now shared a major filming update via Instagram. She posted a photo to her Instagram story confirming that the reshoots on the remake have been completed and that filming has officially wrapped. Okay, so it seems like they're done filming the new Snow White movie according to the lead actress herself. So we'll see how that goes.
I thought you had finished sort of going down there. I
That's
actually like this particular photo because it shows how you have to stand during a filming sort of set. People just don't stand randomly. There's like X's or there's marks on the floor where you're supposed to be.
That's true. And especially in modern day, when they basically have a giant green screen behind them, they have to try to imagine where the characters are. Like they have to point and look at certain things floating in the air that just don't exist. So imagine doing that with these seven dwarves that are just CGI characters, and she's like looking at nothing. Interesting, right?
I want to say something about the actress, but
Oh boy. I mean, okay. What were we gonna say?
Well, considering her comments in previously, someone's probably hit her with a wooden spoon.
All right, so Zegler paired the update photo of her feet standing on a team marker on the set. Oh yeah, the team marker like you showed earlier. She also described how proud and emotional she was to be wrapping up the filming. Oh yeah, fantastic, good for you. Writing on the casting crew, I love these people so much. Weird.
It's like what you were just saying. I've seen people with the most deadest expression on their face, so they think they're happy, but they're like dying inside, and it just shakes me to the core. And her comments basically ring to me like that. I'm sorry, but
yeah, it's
for something that she called like sexist and rooted in misogyny or whatever nonsensical dribble. Like, this character was apparently a huge problem. It's like, go listen to the person who bloody designed the story for Disney.
How is she?
Go listen to what she said.
She's just a classic Disney princess. I see no problem here. She talks to animals. She's a good woman. She was put under a curse, and then she found her Prince Charming, and whoop-de-doo, now she lives the kingdom, and it's great. I see zero. What did she do? Did she murder puppies? I don't think so. She's fine. Anyway, reports that reshoots were underway for Snow White arose earlier this month after an Instagram post from Gal Gadot, who was signed to portray the evil queen in the Snow White cast. Her post showed the director's chair labeled with her character's name and was captioned, "Feels good to back." That's an actual quote. Okay. Ziegler's new post clarifies that the reshoots have concluded. Okay, we already talked about this, but it doesn't provide much info on what they actually entailed. So, just before moving on with the rest of the article, actually, you guys remember when there was this dwarf actor who was on Tucker Carlson on Fox News, and he was saying how he wished that he was able to be in this movie, but instead they hired other people. And it was like a whole big scandal, and I think after that, that's when they did this. Anyways, this is a funny thing that the article said. It says there's a misconception that reshoots are a sign of failure, and mean that the movie messed up badly and they had to try to patch things up after filming. Well, given that Snow White has been subjected to much controversy and criticism over Ziegler's casting and the movie's reimagined, quote-unquote, modern premise, it may add to the belief that reshoots are a bad sign. Still, they could be as simple as a minor touch-ups and redefinements and whatnot, refinements. Additionally, such reshoots may actually be a good thing and suggest that Disney is further improving itself. Oh, spare me, Disney. Freaking spare me. Stop lying, you idiots. Like, they think we're stupid. Like, we know it was going to be terrible. And then they flipped out. They already did. And that's why they lost so much money. Oh, God, man. Come on.
Go broke, yo.
Yeah, especially when you have the actors saying that you don't like the movie because you're all these isms, terrible, phobic people. That's not true. No, I don't care what color you are, so long as you make a good movie, right?
There's a video game.
They're fucking up the story.
There's a video game. I can't remember the name too, but basically the actor portraying the main character found out what was going to be happening later on, and it's like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this. Screw you, and walked off set, or at least like sort of had the show cancelled because he's like, yeah, no.
Oh wait,
what was that one called again?
Are you talking about like a video game voice actor that was
TV show adaptation?
Not sure. I'm sure that's
The Witcher.
Times.
The Witcher. Sorry.
Okay. Henry Cavill.
See, what's the issue here is the actual the dwarves that are supposed to be in this. That's the first problem. But the second problem is the actual actress and the way she acted outside of the movie itself.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So when you take Oppenheimer and the Barbie movie, the Barbie movie's actress was like, yeah, look, I'm going to go watch Oppenheimer. That's a very positive way to handle things. It's like, I'm going to go watch the competition because it's a good movie. Whereas this actress is like, yeah, no, the movie that I'm replacing or redoing was shit, and you shouldn't watch it.
Oh, not even that though. Not even that. She was saying a lot of stuff. She said that she didn't even watch the movie in its entirety. I think maybe she did when she was like 5. And she's like, yeah, I never really liked it because the Wicked Witch was scary, so I didn't really watch the movie. And it's like dated and, whatever. She's a strong woman. She can do it. I'm like, what the? I thought, okay, if they're going to at least cast someone for this role, the iconic Disney princess of Snow White, hopefully, you would think she would be a fan of Disney, right? Like, at least a little bit. You watch the movies. You grew up with Mickey Mouse and all that. Like, at least be a fan of the content. I mean, please. This is just so insulting.
To be honest, I'd rather watch the... You guys saw that thing with the Brett Cooper's Snow White.
Oh yes, I did. I did that. That was amazing. That was incredible.
I'd rather watch
Snow White and the Evil Queen.
Fucking garbage.
Yep, Snow White and the Evil Queen. They dropped a trailer of that. I don't think they're actually going to make it into a movie, but hell, if they do, that it already looks phenomenal. Like production value, everything looks great.
Way better than this shit.
Right.
That's for
Well,
sure.
I'm not going to call it shit because they do have a lot of money behind it. I mean, it's Disney, for one. They can throw however many millions they want into a project, even if it sucks. Like it'll look good, but I think it's going to disappoint a lot of people. It already has, and that's why they had to
It's
do all these reshoots.
yeah, it's gonna be a shit show regardless. I mean, I
So
think.
this is actually interesting here. At the end of this article, it says, in July of 2023, further controversy arose when the Daily Mail leaked alleged set photos from Snow White. Disney initially labeled the photos as fake, but later stated that they just weren't official, quote unquote, and they only depicted the stand-ins. Although it's still unclear how legitimate the photos were, it's possible that Disney is taking its viewers' reactions into account and perhaps reconsidering things, like costume designs, based on the feedback. Ultimately, Snow White is under quite a bit of pressure to rise above the controversy, and the reshoots may be a positive sign of the studio finding additional ways to improve. Now, if that's true, if Disney is actually taking, audience feedback into consideration to actually improve it, like to see, what the customers actually want, maybe they'll gain some money here. Because they've had this same problem so many times over the years. Like when they just don't listen to people, and then it ends up like crap. But what do you think, guys? Do you think that Disney is actually taking people's opinions into consideration, maybe changing some things up?
No.
No, you don't think so?
I don't really trust what they say, to be honest, because
Yeah.
they could just said that just to make people feel better, and then have them watch the movie, and then they
The
they find
only
out that it sucks and shit. So it's like
the only
slap to the
reason why
face.
Disney does these reshoots is because they're really grasping the straws. Like they've been like they lack the well, I mean, the Marvel series is like getting pretty watered down. Like people are
Hmm.
getting tired of superhero movies. They tried doing some original new cartoons, like Wish, was it that cartoon? And it turns out it was crap. Um,
Yeah.
they're just running out of ideas now, and they're just basically looking to go back to the old days when they were they were super fun. I mean, I watched the original Snow White in
Mhm.
in the on the VHS when I was a kid, and it was one of my favorite cartoons ever. In fact, there's I even remember like during like one of my birthday parties. It was like fourth or fifth birthday party. I like basically there's this video of me and a bunch of other kids sitting around the television and watching that that hi ho song is playing in the background, so I do really like that cartoon. And if I ever have kids, you best damn sure I'll let them watch the original cartoon, not
Yeah,
this
yeah, classic Disney. Yeah, for sure, man.
not this garbage or whatever. Whatever comes out, it's not never gonna top of the original
It's
cartoon,
it's
and
the
it's
remake.
nowhere near gonna be as good. I mean, Wicked Witch scary like shit. She is supposed to be. She is the main villain of the show. I mean, the show is supposed to it does send a message about naivety and stuff because Snow White was naive to trust the witch to eat that apple, so
Yeah, yeah.
there is some kind of message to be had with these fairy tales. But you know, the problem is Disney is not doing this because they want to improve the show. They're doing this because they don't have any more any ideas to make something new or an original. I mean,
Yeah, and
they did,
that's a
but
big problem. Yeah.
they did, but it's not. It's just not good.
Right.
Well, even their latest Wish, their 100th anniversary movie, a lot of people thought that the plot was made by AI because it just
The other
didn't make
thing
no
is,
sense. You know?
the other thing with Wish is that it was quite a bland movie. It didn't have that color that the 90s and the 80s
Yeah, it was
movies
just
had, which
yeah.
made it popular.
The problem is that
Snow White, the original Snow White had more color than Wish did.
Right. Yeah, the original 1930s cartoon. Yeah, of course, of course.
like the problem is with Hollywood and all these movies and stuff is that they can't really make anything new or because it now everything offends people and that. I
No,
mean,
see, okay, I get that, but here's my theory about technology. Here's the thing: a lot of Disney's multi-$100 million properties, Snow White, Peter Pan, Lion King, all of that, right? They were very successful in the past, so they're like, oh, we have CGI now, AI. We can just hammer out movies a lot cheaper and just bank on our original IP and just make money off that. I mean, that's why basically the new Star Wars sequels for
Oh God.
for Disney, dude, the first one was basically just like Episode 4 with the Death Star and all that crap. Like seriously, it was nuts.
Fucking suck.
Okay, for
Anyways,
me,
yeah, that's
what I would have liked to have seen would be an expansion on the story itself. Still have Snow White sort of rock up in her situation,
right.
but give the seven dwarves 7 wives, not 7 wives each, but one per dwarf, and have them in a like negative sort of situation where they're not really getting on. There's fighting, they're bickering. Princess comes along, sort of changes their mindset, gets them to clean up before they go home, gets them to treat their wives better, gets them to be like happy, and then the witch comes along and does her thing to sort of like spoil everything and change it, give it a little bit more depth, show that just because you're in a miserable situation doesn't mean that you have to be miserable to the people around you. That would be an important story to tell.
I definitely like the idea of that, like the concept, but that's leaning more towards like The Hobbit, where you have like 13 dwarf characters and you really don't even remember their names.
Well, you don't have to really focus on the wives being majority in the story. Just have them, 2 scenes each.
But
I mean,
initially and then after the fact, when they in a better situation, you don't have to like bring them into the story. They don't have to be part of the story. They just have to be there.
In that case, you can just make a whole entirely different fairy tale of like a wood witch who can talk to animals and helps the local dwarves find out their like. It doesn't have to be Snow White because like that's kind of straying way too far away from the original story. I don't really see anything wrong with the original story. They didn't have to mess with it.
You guys are
this picture is freaky to me.
It's very freaky.
If you understand the original story to Snow White, that is creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I am sorry.
And it's funny because that's actually an improvement. Like that's what they thought people wanted after they saw the Snow White and the 7 magical fairy tale creatures or whatever the hell. Then they made it to this. Like this is a new one. And now this is what they came up with? Oh goodness, Disney. Come on now.
Especially when they casted Wonder Woman as the witch. It's like, isn't she a little too young? Like,
no, you can add a little bit of makeup. Besides, Disney's got that whole aging thing now.
Yeah, she's supposed to be the old hag that gave her the apple. Oh yes, my pretty. Classic.
You guys seem to forget that if you make such a thing like 7 dwarves having 7 wives, the first off there would because this is 2024, they wouldn't have 7 wives. They would have more like one having a normal heterosexual relationship, another one be gay, Another one being transgender.
Oh
Fourth one being
Oh my god.
Well, all right. I mean, they already had the DEI hire for Snow White herself, so and she's already calling her fans racist and bigots before the movie even happened. So we already got that checkbox.
All right. How about we splash a bit more color onto this show, because I seriously mean we need to at this point.
Yeah. Speaking of color, guys, happy end of Pride Month. Here we go, guys. This is from an
Oh,
article called
God.
Modernity. Lego produces Pride video with drag queens and furries. Now, this is something we talked about on the Raiders podcast 3 years ago when they came out with their original Pride rainbow set, and we goofed about how silly it was. But here we go now. Children's toy company Lego has released a quote-unquote Pride video featuring drag queens and even furries in toy form. Yes, they are furries. Not just random bears taking part in a pride parade. Who exactly is this aimed at? Isn't Lego for kids? Quote by Lark Davis. And leftist idiots really say, they aren't after your kids. Yeah, you definitely are.
Yeah, right.
They want to trans the kids. Okay, so basically people are freaking out about this. These are some comments. Actual real gay people are fed up with this crap.
Exactly.
I like that comment. I like that one. It just goes
I'll be
on.
seeing this in Saudi.
That's actually very true. And now this is something, again, we talked about this on when they first released their Pride set. There were several countries, especially in the Middle East and South Africa, where they did not release this, or Southern Africa rather. And they did not release this set because it was offensive to Islam. So Lego didn't do that. But crazy. So let's see.
So
More fun comments. They don't even hide it anymore. Lego needs to return to its roots.
Agree.
You're looking at this and thinking about Lego. I'm looking at this and thinking of their corporate equality index and ESG stores. Oh, goodness gracious.
So I'm wondering, is because they included furries in there, is
They did, yes.
Does Lego think that furries are part of the LGBT or something? Because I know there's a big chunk of the furries who are bisexual, homosexual, but
Right.
But like, aren't the furry fandom in general like a part of the LGBT?
It was never supposed to be. Here's the thing, like this whole LGBT rainbow people, they decided to like hijack the fandom, and unfortunately, due to our welcoming nature, we let them in, and then they corrupted everything. So
because
Well-
even Foxler once told me that like sexuality and furry has like really nothing to do with
nothing,
that, 'cause, like,
dude. It's not. Yeah,
because
it's
everyone, because any person that's a fan of anthropomorphic animals can be a furry regardless if they're heterosexual, homosexual, whatever. It does not matter. Like
exactly. Yeah, and
But for the
if you
things that
are,
have-
who cares?
The thing would be that you'd have a lot of people in the alphabet mafia also furry, so they kind of want to put both together because it's them.
And
I'm
here's-
sort of confused as to why they only have like bears as the so-called quote-unquote furries. Are they trying to like state that it's the gay community or something?
No, see, I thought about this earlier, and I think the reason they only have bears is because this is like an impromptu sort of thing. Yes, unfortunately, the Rainbow Mafia has hijacked the furry fandom, and so now it seems like for normies, they're like connected, which they shouldn't be, but whatever. So now it's like, oh, Rainbow Pride and stuff, and then yeah, they have all the bears because I don't think they had anything else. Like I don't see any like wolves or cats or dragons or whatever. I'm sure by like next year, maybe they'll develop something else.
The thing is that they do actually have like an Anubis Lego.
Oh,
So they
I
could have
did
used
that,
that for the whole furry thing, but clearly they didn't.
Nah. This is just like the weird bear thing. I think this is only for like some promotional thing they were doing. Furry and the whole gay community thing, they're not connected. They were never supposed to be. One of them is a radical political movement. The other is a hobby.
Wait,
right?
is this gays in general, or is this the alphabet mafia in general?
It's literally the alphabet mafia because a lot of furries aren't straight, but they don't make it like a thing to like promote to people. It's not supposed to be crazy like that.
I
No,
mean,
people who have deep insecurities turn around and do this sort of shit.
I
Yeah,
mean,
well, that's why a lot of furries they also have autism. Like they're on the spectrum, and they find a community that's welcoming and nice, and that's all well and good. But you don't have to be like radical political activists and try to like hijack a movement.
I think
Not a good idea.
it stems from that whole Tumblr kind of be kind of welcoming to everything. So be welcoming to all kinds of people. Like oh, there's like furries with autism. There's like this disabled furries. There's like furries with and all that, and like
Right. So think about being an executive at Lego, and they say, okay, what are we going to do for Pride Month? And they said, well, sir, we already had our rainbow thing, a couple years ago. What should we do this year? I know. Those people that dress up as animals. Yeah, well, let's throw them in there. And then they did.
so they're probably because they saw some furries in the on the pride parades, and they probably thought that furries are part of that. All furries are like part of the LGBT, which clearly are
Oh,
not.
boy.
Yeah,
No,
but
I mean, it was good marketing.
we're
Like,
not.
to be honest, like
Yeah, of course.
I imagine a lot of furries will probably look at this and be like, "Oh, cool."
But second, who is this aimed for? Is this aimed for kids? And why would kids even want this?
That's a good question. That's actually a very scary question. Yeah,
Like-
who is
like-
it aimed at?
I think it's all just down to money. They probably
Well,
looked at this, thought this would be an excellent way to drum up some attention and some cash, but no.
Kids, like even 6 or 7 year olds, if you give them this, I guarantee you, 99%, they probably won't like it because kids actually. I mean, I think mostly boys play with Legos. I mean, there are girls, but like mostly it's a boys' toy kind of thing.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
are-
that's
kind of-
have you,
kind of like-
Malagos, when was the last time you were in the kids section in like Kmart or something? Well, if you're in Australia, Kmart.
Actually, I don't really remember.
Okay. Well, Lego does have a lot of girl stuff. There's a
Well-
whole line dedicated to Lego for girls.
Okay, well, but
yeah,
I mean,
they're trying, but I think for the most part, it's mostly the boys that are playing with the Legos, right?
yeah, I would imagine
think
that
so.
because girls are mostly like the parties and everything. But my point, considering, is like kids, well, at least the boys who play with Legos, they don't want to play as LGBT or whatever. They don't even know what that is. They want to play as, I don't know, Marvel superheroes or Batman or or a knight or Lego
Well,
City or
okay,
whatever. Something
that's
that's
the thing.
something that's more interesting. Something they can play along.
And they can't play with this because this whole piece, if you saw it, like actually, it was basically just like a paperweight. It was not meant to be played with. It was like a flag and then like a few characters standing in front of it.
So even if it's a collectible, it's a pretty shitty collectible because
yeah.
there are
It would be a
Legos for adults that are basically like collectible, basically like model making. Like there's that 2,000 or was it like 10,000 piece of a replica of a Colosseum.
Oh yeah, cool stuff like that, man.
That's like
Absolutely.
those are like
That's like a
Legos for
hobbyist. Yeah.
Legos
Yeah.
for adults, but like
Yeah,
this kind of
Mhm.
thing, like I don't think this is even aimed for adults, and even if it's aimed for the kids will not play with this because
Mm.
it's just stupid. Like,
Well, unfortunately, we're starting to run out of time. Azzy, did you have anything to say about the last shit show of the day?
the Lego one is like, it's like, just stop pushing this bullshit already. And furries are not LGBT in any way, shape, or form. Not, at least not the real concept of furries. Like, they obviously just hijacked the fandom like way too much that even Lego companies think that, oh, they're part of the LGBTQ, and it's like,
Yeah,
come
so the
on.
trash, right?
It's totally trash. It's like, but yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it's about 8 p.m. on my end, so I think we're just about to go wrap some stuff up. What do you think, Malagos, of all the crazy stories we had this week?
Well, I mean, with video games, I pretty much stopped playing newer games and just playing
Hmm.
older games in general. In But when it comes to all the other kids stuff, like I said, if I had kids, I'm gonna make sure like those kids at least uh have a you know proper ways of cartoons that were actually good, that were actually kind of interesting, or Lego toys that are they're actually toys that kids will play, not these kinds of toys that they'll just say what is this and they'll just throw it away.
Yeah. All right. Well, as we kind of already had your final statements, but anything else you want to talk about concluding the night?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot to mention other stuff. The Snow White story. Well, it's it's still gonna be a shit show regardless. Like that fucking movie is still gonna be fucking trash, regardless if they refilmed it or whatever. Especially with that actress, it's like she's not even. How do I say this? She's not even perfect for the role. It's like, and the CGI like dwarves and shit. That's like, no, just stop. Like, just stop remaking shit. Like, ugh. but
Yeah, I hear you, man.
but
Absolutely.
but in other video game stories, I was kind of speechless because well the Japanese one with Assassin's Creed, that's pretty fucked up when they were like playing like fucking hip hop music in a fucking samurai battle and shit. It's like, come on, bro. This is super disrespectful to the to the Japanese even. Like
Uh-huh.
I got I've known a couple Japanese I know a couple Japanese people and they would say the same thing. Like it's an insult.
Yeah. All right. Noble, any conclusion thoughts of tonight?
We basically had negativity throughout the entire board and had to use C4 to break through the final barrier at the bottom just to go deeper.
Huh, boy, you said it, man.
Sorry. Well, with that nice little uptake, let's end the show, unfortunately.
Oh yes, hold on. Let me just get my last closing statements in there, and then you can rattle us out. I will say, let's see, got my notes here. Yeah, I'm kind of sick of the historical revisionism. Honestly, if you want to make a video game about samurais in Japan, you make a video game about like legit samurais in Japan. You don't have to make it like this whole statement, right? Just make it cool, right? And oh boy, having a child is not a disability. Whoever the hell said that, you're insane.
Now, it's a responsibility
Definitely, yes. I love
and
your
a burden.
It's not a disability; it's a responsibility, and that is absolutely correct. And guys, I guess last thing I want to say is for those of you who live in America, I hope you had a fantastic 4th of July. Hope you blew up a lot of shit and stuck it to the British. Yeah, we're not
Yeah,
going to pay
fuck
your
the British.
taxes. Get out of here, King George. Aside from that, Noble, you wanna head us out?
Our podcast is available on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Player FM, iHeartRadio, BitChew, and whatever decides to crawl out of the swamp in the next couple of years.
Right. Nice having you guys. Hope you have an awesome night. Bye.
Bye.
Hope you didn't shove your M80s in the wrong place.